Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Buyer's Remorse with Darren and Justin.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Justin.
I'm Darren.
On Buyer's Remorse, we look at each other's libraries, our very, very large libraries, and try to find games that the other person has not played and force them to give it a try for an hour to see if it is a wonderful buyer's confirmation or a dreaded buyer's remorse. What game did I choose for you this time?
I'm on observation duty, the first one.
The first one, because there are 5 of them, I think.
Yeah.
I mostly picked this one because I'm interested. I saw some reviews for the 5th one and thought the series sounded interesting. It sounded something like you might want to play, and I also might want to play, depending.
Yep.
But I noticed it was in your library, and as is sort of the tagline for the show, is that in my library? That's pretty much exactly what you said. I said, oh, I want you to play this for Buyer's Remorse, and you said, do I own that one? Yes, you do. Now, you own the first one. I don't know if you own the others.
No, I don't. I don't know where I got this. No idea. You're guinea pigging me in this one then, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, so this came out in December 2018. It costs $3. There's the dev. It's a dev publisher, single publisher, Natovia. He's got 6 games: Observation Duty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then some anime game that's got mixed reviews and no one seems to like. It's like, no, just keep making these games. But the prices for the Observation Duty games gets more expensive. So like the first it's $3 for the first 3 games, and then for part 4 it kind of jumps to $5, and then for part 5 it jumps to $10. Hopefully that's indicative of the quality of the games. I've got no idea.
I will say that the reviews for 5, a number of them said, oh, the series just keeps getting better.
Oh, really? Okay, fair enough. Well, let's see if 1 was the worst one.
If the basic concept is bad, then it's not going to work for me.
Yeah, so it's basically, it's an indie horror, spot the difference, phasmophobia, camera checking, Five Nights at Freddy's type game.
I haven't played... What did you say,
Phasmophobia?
I don't think I played that one.
Phasmophobia is a first-person game where you get to walk around the inside of a house and it's haunted by something, and basically you have to use machines, set up things, talk into your microphone to get the ghost to speak to you. You have to find out, is it what kind of spirit is it? Is it a poltergeist, or is it this, or is it that? And then you basically it's like a detective game where you have to work out what the spirit is. As far as I know, I've only ever seen other people play it. It's too scary for me, which is weird because this I thought this was going to be really scary as well for me, but thankfully it's not. It's more weird than scary.
Okay.
And so you start off the menu with 2 options. You've got the old house or the new house. The new house was added later on as a free DLC. So I think when this originally came out, it was just one house, 5 or 6 rooms, and then they added 1 more later on. So I didn't really get to play much of the new house in my hour. So it's probably about 2 hours worth of content for the $3, which is not bad. So I took the old house because it's the first on the list. There's 5 rooms, and basically each room has a CCTV camera, and it's your job to hunt for these things called anomalies. And those anomalies could be a cup moving across the table, or a chair moving away from the table, or a picture frame disappearing, or, just in one, it looked like there was some peanut shells on a desk, like some pistachio shells on a desk. And honestly, man, like 3 of them had been moved, just vanished. I was looking around for ages, and it's that. Eventually, but I mean, when you first go into the level, you're there's so much information to take in. By half an hour or something like that, you get to know the rooms really well. Everything's also black and white, so there's no color. There's nothing really messing with you visually. It's pretty clear cut, everything.
How do you spot the differences? Do you click on them? How do you tell the game you spotted them?
Right, so that's exactly what the whole mechanic of the game is, yeah. So when you see something, there's a menu on the bottom, you click it open, and then you click what room was the anomaly in the dining room, in the kitchen, wherever, on the balcony, and then you get to pick, much like the Obra Dinn, actually. You get to pick from a list of, how they were murdered. But in this case, you get to pick from a list of anomalies like moving object, disappearing object, abyssal appearance, which is much like the crack in the wall in Doctor Who, kind of like that, camera malfunction, etc., etc. It takes a bit of time to get into that menu system to know what you're looking for. But once you do, that's part of the game. It's like, well, what is it? Is it this? And then they're like, no, it's not that. And everything takes time, so you can't just keep spamming them, And so you have, it could be anything like moving a cup across the table, a chair moving, a painting changing, basically the picture changes to another picture. Or it could be something really weird like an alien or some horrible shadows that just appear on the floor. There's one point where I went in the kitchen, there was a guy just standing there completely naked, just cupping his balls. Just like, what? Just some naked dude in my kitchen.
How did you classify that one?
Intruder.
Okay.
There's a fair number of intruders, yeah. And so basically the game is much like Five Nights at Freddy's. You have to survive until 6 a.m. So you start off at midnight, and then you have to just keep finding anomalies until 6 a.m. If you get more, from what I can understand, because I'm not exactly sure how the mechanic works, but it seems like once you get 3 anomalies, if you can't find them, then you get a jump scare. So something will happen.
Okay.
And you die, basically. And so you just got to go back. So...
Well, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Do you go from room to room on your camera, and then when you go back to that room... Does the anomaly happen again so you get a chance to see it?
Yeah, that's another good question.
Or is like one shot and you're out?
Yeah. Some of them, it felt like... Because again, like I only played it for the hour, so I got a good grasp of what the game was, but I'm not sure about all the real solid mechanics. But some of the items seem to only move when you click your camera on that room. There's one point where the toilet just started levitating. It's like, okay, that's an anomaly. Dunk. And then something like a glass moving, it seems like if you're on the room when it's happening, you'll see it happen. But it's not like it moves back and forth, back and forth. So if you're clicked on another room and you come to this room, if you've missed it, then you have to spot the difference. You'll be like, that cup wasn't there before. Or that chair is like way out from the table. There's something's changed in this room. So that does take a lot of getting used to it. Finding it when it's happening is quite easy. Yeah, it's like, oh, there it is there. The toilet's levitating. But yeah, there's I don't know how many anomalies there are. It seems like a lot. Like, I got a couple of repeats in the hour that I played, but I saw a fairly diverse section of them. Like, it feels like it must be 50 or 60 different anomalies, which is good for replayability at least. And so, yeah, sorry, I beat the house the second time I played the game. So the first time I played it, I think it only lasted about maybe 15 minutes. But then, because the timer does click by quite quickly, I think it's like 1 minute is 1 second almost on an hour, 2 seconds. So you are clicking through, and every time you get to the hour, it's like you hear the grandfather clock, boom, It's like, you've made it this far, well done.
When you get the jump scare, what does it look like?
It was just something that I honestly couldn't even see it because I just had to I jumped out of the way of it. But it looked like something just rushes up towards the camera just as I was going. I was just clicking. Okay, I've got to find this anomaly. I'm missing something because you do get a notice that says, "Hey, there's anomalies you've not found." And then so I was clicking to find it, and as I clicked to the kitchen, it just like something just flew at the camera. But I think it's maybe different for each playthrough.
Is it the anomaly that you missed? So if you missed the levitating toilet, does the toilet come flying?
Maybe. Yeah, it's a weird game because it's like I don't really understand the whole how this is all happening because it's like I say, oh, the bed is moved across the room. Okay, moving anomaly, bedroom, moving object. Then I send that to the department, and then this like test screen that comes up and it says something like beep and it says fixing anomaly, please stand by. and then it goes off and then the bed is back to where it should be kind of thing. So I don't know who's controlling this and fixing all these anomalies, but I'm the one that's on observation duty, I guess.
Sounds like you're fixing the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I just saw that cat twice. But yeah, so the second time I played it, though, I lasted, it took me about 40 minutes to beat the house. And that's it. But I beat the house. It's like I survived, but I only found, I think it was something like 22 out of 24 anomalies. I didn't find them all. I don't know if there's an achievement for that. They did put achievements in the game recently, which is something that people are happy about. Me too, because there's secrets in the game, which is interesting. And I found one of them in my playthrough. Or I think I might have went a little bit over to get it.
You're allowed.
The secret really intrigued me because there's a flashing light on a picture frame. I clicked the picture. I saw it the first time. I got an achievement and I thought that was it. A weird voice comes through and it's just like, it sounds like a tape being played at like half speed. And so I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't listening. And I just heard something, go to the balcony at 3:30 and you'll die. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to do that. But then I clicked it again, and I saw that, like on my second playthrough, I clicked it again, and then I realized that there's a message here, and the message says 3:30 balcony input Mandela's death. And so I had to look it up because I can't remember when he died, but it was December 5th, 2013. So I timed it, and you have to survive until 3:30. I got to the balcony. And then when you click on report the anomaly, there's a new input anomaly. It's just called input. And then a little code thing comes up and you can type in 2013. And then you get teleported into a room with a guy that looks like G-Man from Half-Life, but like a young, slicker version of G-Man from Half-Life who kind of just looks right at you. And then you click on him and his face kind of glitches out. If you keep clicking on it, eventually his whole face just spins 180 degrees, not like Exorcist 360, but like vertically 180 degrees. So his mouth is on top of his head, and then his jaw just kind of opens like a snake, and then he rushes the screen and eats you. And that's an achievement. And that was called something like, I don't know, it was something ridiculous like Steve. That's Steve. But yeah, the graphics are kind of average. They're nothing to write home about. I think I did look at the trailers for 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the graphics do definitely get better. And I think in the later games as well, you can actually move through the house. It's not just done by CCTV. So they have kind of upgraded it, and maybe that's where the extra money comes into play. But yeah, so I went into the new house. It's a lot busier than the old house. They've definitely put a lot more stuff in there, and I was like getting way past my playtime, my hour. So I just had a little look around and saw some stuff. What I did find was something really cool in the new house where I was in a hallway, and then reality was getting distorted, and the hallway was getting longer and longer and longer, and the music was slowing down, and I was like, oh, cool. I wonder what's happening. And then it gets so far apart, and then suddenly it just rushes you towards this door, and there's a guy inside. He turns around, jump scares you, and I shit my pants again. So, and that was me. I was like, okay, I'm done. But yeah, so imagine the Stanley Parable, where you could do all these weird things, and it looks like these hidden endings and secrets to find, things to click on. That's what it felt like. I don't know how deep it goes, but there certainly are a few secrets. And so, yeah, it was an interesting game.
Are you going back into it?
I probably will, because I'd like to get the other achievements. Because it's not just like, oh, survive 1 hour, survive 2 hours. There's one of those, like survive your first hour, but nothing else beyond that. There's only 6 achievements, and they look weird. So I'd like to find them.
Do you want to go through enough to beat the new house?
I'd definitely go back and try the new house. The only problem with the game is it does take quite a long time to play around.
And there's no saving through or anything?
No, definitely not. There's no save points.
So play all in one go.
Yeah. And it's very quiet. And I could see why people would maybe think this game is a bit boring, because you are just looking through CCTV cameras at static rooms that are not really doing much until they do something weird. And then that's pretty cool, You've got aliens, you've got shadows, you've got There was a woman in a doorway that really creeped me out. The guy naked. There's a guy outside my balcony who kind of like waddles up he almost walks like a Titan from Attack on Titan, and then he gets to the front and he looks like a kind of hillbilly with dungarees and a big pot belly, and just there's a lot of weird stuff going on, which was better for me. If it had been full of jump scares, then I would not have enjoyed this, especially for an hour. Jesus.
So would you recommend this to me?
I think so. Yeah. I think this would be what I did was I just put all of them on my wish list, and I'll wait for a sale. I'm in no rush to jump into them.
I think there's a big bundle for all of them as well.
There is a bundle, and it was on sale when I checked, but it wasn't steep enough for me, so it was still about $20 for all of them. I'll wait for. I could wait another year. Doesn't matter. No, I think this is something that you could get into definitely, because it's not a jump scare game. You get one jump scare when you die, pretty much.
Who would you recommend this to?
People that like. It feels like a kind of maybe cheap version of Phasmophobia. So if you like Phasmophobia, then I would say this might be an interesting in-between game that you would like to play, and you should maybe check out at least, even just for the first one, for the $3. It's not as scary or as intense as Phasmophobia. It might scratch an itch,
What tags would you give it?
Tags, I would say it's psychological. The game really messes with your head. It's got you looking for things that aren't there all the time. You're thinking, did that move? Okay, I'm going to report that. And every time you report something, it's like time's wasting, and you've got other anomalies to find. So you could be in for that jump scare. Observation, the tag is in the title. It's a game about looking for stuff, spot the difference, and creepy. It's definitely a horror game, but it's not. It's more on the creepy, weird side of things than the outright just in your face gore horror kind of stuff.
I already know the answer, but I have to ask. Is this a wonderful buyer's confirmation or a dreaded buyer's remorse?
It's another confirmation, man.
Next time.
Buyer's confirmation.